In this video, I'm going to review the consent form for the medical forensic examination and evidence collection. So this form is located within the evidence collection box. It is a triplicate form. There's the white copy, which is the original, which will go to law enforcement, a yellow copy, and a pink copy. The yellow can go to the patient's chart. The pink copy can be provided to the patient. So lots of different areas on this form. First section here is the actual consent for the medical forensic examination. So there's a line for either consent or decline, so the patient has to initial one of those sections. If they are declining the medical forensic examination and evidence collection, we do not open the kit to obtain this one piece of paper. There are copies of this form within the medical forensic binder under the decline tab that you can use for that. So in that scenario, you would just have the patient initial that they're declining evidence collection. And then you can read them this portion, which states that they understand that they can return to any healthcare facility within 7 days of assault to have evidence collection completed if they should choose to change their mind. So moving on from this consent portion, the next portion goes into photography. So I actually think it flows better to start with the consent process and then to work your way down to reporting options and what the patient wants to do with the kit when it is completed, and then jump back up to photography. For me, I just feel like it flows a little bit better. So once the patient decides that they are going to have evidence collected, we need to provide them with some options as to what they're going to do as in terms of reporting. So they have option A, option B, and option C. First option is pretty much the usual process of how things flow. This is where the patient will make a report with law enforcement. This can be done prior to them coming into the emergency department or can be done while they are in the emergency department. So you always want to call the town in which the assault occurred. So if it happened in Bedford Park, you would call Bedford Park. They will send an officer out to take a report for the patient. Second one is option B, which is healthcare provider report. So in this scenario, the patient is going to file a police report. However, they do not want to talk to the police at this time. The nurse can file the report on their behalf, so they would call Bedford Park and file the report on their behalf. But the patient does need to be notified that they do at some point need to speak to law enforcement. Option C is where the patient does not want to file a police report at this time. So they are going to initial here and put their initials down here so that we keep the patient's name confidential. We do not put a sticker or the patient's name on the original form. On the subsequent copies, we can do that, but on the original that goes to law enforcement, we do not provide a name. So the patient will initial here and initial down here. We do have to inform the patient that as a mandated reporter, we are obligated to call law enforcement to let them know that a sexual assault occurred in their community, but we will not provide any details about the patient's identity. So once you have the reporting option, so for options A and B, you can jump down to this section here. So these go through what the patient wants the disposition of the kit to be. So these are the same and these are the same. So in this scenario, this is where the patient is electing to have the kit released to law enforcement and sent to the Illinois State Crime Lab. These options are that the patient does not wish for their kit to be sent directly to the Illinois State Crime Lab. They are electing to have it held at the police department and then released at a later date whenever they choose. So they have up to 10 years to decide that they want that kit tested. Beyond that period, the kit is destroyed.